In this video, we are going to look at some more graphing patterns. This is part 2. Let's begin. So we've got this pattern right here, and this is actually, it's basically a table, kind of like this table right here, except it's horizontal. It's done this way. So they didn't really need to give us a second table to fill out, but it's good to know anyways. So imagine this as a table, and we're just trying to figure out what the patterns are. So from here to here, from 9 to 8, we go down 1. From 8 to 7, we go down 1. From 7 to 6, again, down 1. Whereas with the x, for every one x, it seems to go up 1, then up 1, then up 1 again. So 3 to 4, 4 to 5, 4 to 6, 5 to 6, 6 to 7, 7 to 8. So it's always going up by 1, which means this should always be going down by 1, right? So 5. So take 1 away from 5, you should have 4. Take 1 from that, you should have 3. Take 1 from that, you should have 2. Take that away, 1 away from that, you should have 1. All right, they want us to fill out this table now. So let's just go ahead and choose 4 points. I'll just choose the first, red. First 5 points, 2, 3, or 5 points. Why not? First 5 points. So my first point is, let's use blue, 0 when x is 0, y is 9. When x is 1, y is 8. And I'm taking it from here. When x is 2, y is 7, 3, and 6. So 2 and 7, 3 and 6, 4 and 5. And these are just ordered pairs. So I need to graph these points, 0 and 9. That is way up here. So 0, I don't go left or right 0, but I do go up 9. Because the y number is 9. 1, 8. 1, 8 means I go right 1, up 8. 2, 7. 2, 7 right here means I go right 2, up 7. And you may even notice that, like, hey, if I'm just going, like, down by 1 for y every time I go up for x1, you can just go, well, go down 1, and then go over 1, like that. Down 1 for y, go over 1 for x. Down 1 for y, go over 1 for x. Down 1 for y, go over for x. Down 1 over 1. And then so on, so forth. And that's also kind of a way you can figure that out without having to look at the points and then graph them. Anyways, I'm going to draw a line straight through all these things. Hopefully I can draw a line, a straight enough line. It's pretty straight. It's not too bad. Okay, let's figure out the slope. What is the slope? Well, slope, remember, slope is the m number and the b number. That's probably nifty to know for when we write our equation. But our slope is the change in our y over our change in x. And we could do that by looking at our table, or we can look at our graph. So I'm going to use red. What is my change in y? Well, from 9 to 8 is minus 1. My change in x is, from 0 to 1, is plus 1. Let's see if that pattern holds up. 8 to 7, that's minus 1. 7 to 6, that's minus 1 again. 1 to 2, or 2 to 3, it's always plus 1, plus 1. So if it's change in y over change in x, the change in y is negative 1. Change in x is positive 1, or just 1. So we've got this ratio, negative 1 over 1. What is negative 1 over 1 simplified? It's just negative 1. So my slope, or my m, is negative 1. If we wanted to figure that out using the graph, we could do it as well. We just need to choose 2 random points that touch the corners. So I could choose this one and this one, or I can choose this one and that one. It really doesn't matter. As long as they touch the corners, they're like touch the whole number. So let's go ahead and choose like this one right here and this one. And I ask myself, how far down, what's my change in y to get from here to here? Well, my change in y means I am going down by 1, going down 1. If I'm going down, that's negative 1. And how do I get, what's my change in x? Well, I'm going forward 1 space, so that's plus 1. So negative 1 over 1, which is the same thing as negative 1. That's how I figure that out. Now, what if you were the kind of person who's like, well, I'm going to choose this point and this point down there. What is my change in y from here to here. My change in y would have been like 1, 2, 3. I have to go 3 spaces to get here to here, right? And then how many spaces right do I have to go? 1, 2, 3. So 3 spaces down, which is negative 3. 3 spaces over, which is 3. Change in y in this is negative 3. Change in x is 3. Isn't negative 3 over 3 just negative 1? So yeah, with your graph, or you could figure out the slope from the table or the graph. Either way. All right, so what is the y-intercept? The y-intercept is where the line touches the y-axis, which is right over there. So I'm going to use green for this one. I'm going to circle that. I'm going to circle, point to that. That is our y-intercept, or our b. It's our starting point. And how can you find the y-intercept? Well, I'm going to write that. It's 3. Wait, did I just say 3? That number is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It is 9. Now, how do you find a y-intercept from a table? Well, you basically look for our starting point, which is when x is 0. When x is 0, what does y equal? It's right over here. So I'm going to use green for that. This is our y-intercept, or b. And when x is 0, y equals 9. All right, so just like we said down there. Use the slope and y-intercept to write the equation. So remember, the equation should be written in the form of y equals mx plus b, where m is our slope and b is our y-intercept. So y equals, we know that the slope is -1, so we're going to write -1 x, and then we know our y-intercept is 9, so we're going to replace b with 9. Let me write it on the side so it's clear. Y equals -1x plus 9. You may also see it as written as y equals -x plus 9. Now, why -x? Because -1 times x is -x, okay? So both of those are correct. All of those are correct. All right, they want us to use the equation to figure out what y equals when x is 10. So we're going to replace x with whatever the number they give us. So I'm going to use my equation, y equals m, which is -1, x, which is in this case 10, plus 9. -1 plus 10, or sorry, -1 times 10 is -10. And -10 times 9 is, that is -1, because -10 plus 9 is, you subtract and you take the sign of the bigger number, which is negative. So that's -1. Let's do what happens if x is 100. So -1 times 100 plus 9. So 100 times -1 is -100, and -100 plus 9, they are opposite signs, so I should subtract. 100 minus 9 is 91, and it is negative because the -100 is bigger. And finally, what if x is 1,000? Y equals -1 times 1,000 plus 9. And -1 times 1,000 is -1,000 plus 9. Subtract. 1,000 minus 9 is, I guess, 991. And it's negative because our sign is negative, or our -1,000 is bigger than +9. Is the pattern linear or nonlinear? Well, let's look at it. Is it a straight line? Yes, it is. Therefore, it is linear. Is it ascending, descending, or horizontal? If we read it from left to right, so start here, reading left to right, it seems to be going down, so that means it is descending. Remember, descending means going down, ascending means going up, and horizontal means it's a flat line straight across. Something else, if you remember, is take a look. My slope is negative, right? It's -1. Negative slopes means the line should always be descending. What about this +9? That +9 is just our starting point. It starts off at 9. If it started off at -9, then it'd start off down here. and then it'd be descending from down there. All right, let's continue. So graphing equations, this is going to be a little bit different because we are going to be given an equation and they want us to fill out the table and the graph. So let's do that. Remember, y equals mx plus b, right? Where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. So what we're going to do is let's underline the slope. It's not 3x, it's just 3. And slope is always going to be multiplied by the x. So why did I write 3 underneath that? That's m. 3 is our m. B is positive 1. And notice I included the plus sign when I underline. So our slope is 3. Our y-intercept is 1, positive 1. Specifically, you could write positive 1, but what's the point? All right. They want us to complete the table when x is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So when x is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's write the equation. Our equation is y equals 3x plus 1. And so if y equals 3x plus 1, we are going to replace x with 0. So 3 times 0 plus 1, that's 0 plus 1, which equals 1. Because 0 is just, 3 times 0 is 0. Let's box that. Let's try the next one. When y equals 3, we're replacing x with 1 plus 1. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. Let's do that in blue to stay consistent. Let's try it with 2 now. Y equals 3, x is 2, plus 1. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 plus 1 is 7. And we can keep going, or we can take a look at and check to see if we see a pattern. So x is going up by 1 every time, right? So x is going up by 1. It's not making any dramatic jumps, like it doesn't go from 3 to 30 or anything like that. Let's see what the pattern is for y. 1 to 4 and 4 to 7, what's happening? It's adding 3 every time. So if I'm adding 3 to 7, I should get 10. And then add 3 more, that's 13. Add 3 more, that is 17. Wait, 16. Okay, so now we have our ordered pairs. We have 0 and 1, 1, 4, 2, 7. So 0, 1. Let's graph that. 0, 1 is right over here. Next point is 1, 4. So 1 and then 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 2, 7. 2, 7, so 2. And then 7, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or you could do it the other way, which is like remembering like, hey, y is going up by 3. So it goes up by 3 and x goes up by 1. Y goes up by 3, x goes up by 1. And then if you want to take it backwards, you can say, oh, go down 3 and backwards 1. And then down 3 and then backwards 1. And so we draw our line. All right. So they want us to show the slope on the table and graph. Is it the same as our answer in number 2? So we showed the slope. We showed the change in y. Change in y is 3. Change in x is 1. So our slope is, according to that, our slope is going to be 3. Because it's 3 over 1. 3 over 1, which is 3. What about our y-intercept? Our y-intercept, when x equals 0, what does y equal? When x equals 0, y equals 1. Therefore, our y-intercept is 1. They want us to show this same thing. So is the slope the same and the y-intercept the same? So far, slope is 3, y-intercept is 1. That is what we said right here. So that works out perfectly. Let's check our graph. Our y-intercept is where this line touches the y-axis, which is right there. What point is that? That is point 0, 1. which is our b. So our y-intercept is 1, right? And then let's check the slope. Let's take 2 points. Let's choose this one and this one. How do I get from there? The change in y is going to go up 3 and over 1. And that is 3 over 1, which is just 3. So our m is 3. Our y-intercept is 1. Yep, that is exactly what was said before. The answer is yes to both. Is it linear or nonlinear? Looks like a straight line to me. It is linear. Ascending, descending, or horizontal. Let's read it from left to right. Starts here, goes upward, which means upward is ascending. Let's go to the next one. This one, I'd like you to try on your own if you have the packet. It's very similar to the last one. Let's look at this one right here. We have this equation, negative 2x plus 8. Remember, y equals mx plus b. So let's underline our slope. Hopefully you know that the sign needs to be underlined as well. So our m is actually negative 2. And our y-intercept, let's include the sign as well, is 8. So negative 2 and 8. Complete the table for 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4 when x equals 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Our equation is y equals negative 2x plus 8. So let's do the work. Y equals negative 2 times x is going to be 0 plus 8. So negative 2 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 8 is 8. Let's look at the next one. Y equals negative 2 times 1 plus 8. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2 plus 8 is negative 2 plus 8. You're going to subtract. Take the sign of the bigger number, which is positive. That's going to equal 6. Oops. Let's do that in blue to keep consistent. Let's try that one more. Y equals negative 2 times 2 plus 8. Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4 plus 8. Negative 4 plus 8 is 4. You could probably figure out the pattern from here. From 8 to 6 and 6 to 4 is plus 2. Our x pattern, 0 to 1, 1 to 2, you are adding 1 every time. So if I'm adding 2 every time for y, or sorry, subtracting, oh my goodness, what am I doing? 8 to 6, 6 to 4, I'm subtracting 2, not adding 2. So if I subtract 2 more from here to here, 4 minus 2 is 2. Subtract 2 more, that's 0. So let's plot our points. 0, then 8. 0, 8 is right over there. Let's do 1 and 6. 1 and 6 is, oops, 1 right here, 6 up here. Or if you remember, my change in y is 2, negative 2. My change in x is positive 1. So I just go down 2 over 1. Down 2 over, down 2 over 1. 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 That's how I could do that one instead of doing, you know. So let's draw a line connecting all that. This keeps going. All right, show the slope on the table and the graph. So let's do the slope. Slope is negative 2 over 1. So our m is, the change is negative 2 over 1, which is negative 2. All right, let's do the slope on the graph. Let's use this point and this point. We're going, how do I get from there to there? I'm going down 2. I'm going to go over 1. So that is negative 2 over 1, which is negative 2. Let's do the y-intercept now. So is it the same? Yes. The y-intercept, remember the y-intercept is when x is 0, what does y equal? X is 0, y is 8. So I'm going to box that. That is our, remember, that is our y-intercept. when x is 0. So it is 8. B does equal 8. And does B equal 8 over here? Well, yeah, right over there. What point is that? That is B, which is point 1, 2, 0, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that is point 0 and 8. So, is it the same as above? Yes, it is. Linear or nonlinear? It is linear. Ascending, descending, or horizontal? Let's read from left to right. So, left to right, it is going down, so we are descending. Go ahead and try the next one on your own. We've got y equals negative 1x plus 7. I'm going to jump to the next question, which is a little tricky. We've got the equation y equals 3. Remember, the equation is y equals mx plus b. So is this 3 the slope? Is it the m or is it the b? Now remember, slope is always going to be multiplied by x. Is this 3 being multiplied by x? It's not. Therefore, it looks like we have no slope. When we have no slope, we can say our slope is 0. In this case, it would be 0. What is the 3 then? It's the b, because the b is just a constant that's by itself. So this right here is our b, which is 3. They want us to complete the table for when x equals 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, when x is 0, what does y equal? Let's draw the equation. I'm actually going to do it in different colors this time. Y equals 3. So let's write the equation. Y equals 3. Do I put the x anywhere? Well, no, because there's no x to put there. So when x is 0, y just equals 3. What happens when x equals 1? Well, let's write the equation. Y equals 3. When x is 1, that doesn't change the fact that y equals 3. So guess what? Y always equals 3, no matter what. Let's plot these points. 0, 3, 1, 3, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 3. So 0, 3, 1, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 3, 4, 3, 5, 3. And it also goes backwards as well. So you're going to draw a line straight across. Show the slope on the table and graph. Well, let's show the slope. The change in y is you're adding like 0. Or from 3 to 3, you're adding 0. What about from the change in x? You're adding 1. So our slope is 0 over 1, right? Change in y is 0. Change in x is 1. And what's 0 over 1 simplified? It's just 0. This is a 0 slope because the y is not changing, but our x technically is going forever. But if it's 0 over whatever number, that's still 0. So is it still the same as our slope? We said the slope was 0, and the slope is 0 on the graph and table, so the answer is yes. Show the y-intercept on the table and graph. Remember, the y-intercept is the, when x is 0, what does y equal? In this case, it's 3. And the y-intercept is over there. That is b, which is 0.03. And we did say the y-intercept is 3, correct? It is. So it is the same for all of them. Yes, yes, yes. Linear or nonlinear? It is linear. It's a straight line. Ascending, descending, or horizontal? If we go from left to right, it's not going up or down. It is a straight horizontal line. Let's try the next one. This one's a little tricky as well. Y equals x. So remember, y equals mx plus b. So what is our slope? Well, our slope is the number that's being multiplied by x. What number is being multiplied by x? Looks like there's no slope, but that's not true. There's an invisible number being multiplied by x, and that invisible number is 1. So our slope is actually 1. What's our y-intercept, our b? Well, this is normally where it would be, and we see no number there. and no number being added, and when you're adding nothing, that's the same thing as adding 0. So now we're going to complete the table when x equals 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And they want us to use the equation y equals x. So let's write it out. When y equals and x is 0, then y is 0, I guess. Y equals when x is 1, y is just 1. When x is 2, we're replacing x with 2. That means y equals 2. What do you think the answer is for when it's 3? Well, you can probably figure it out even without using a pattern, but it seems to be that everything is increasing by 1 each time. So if I increase 2 by 1, I get 3. And then I get 4. Increased by 1, I get 5. Whereas on the other side, x gets increased by 1 as well. Anyways, let's plot our points. I'm wasting time here. 0, we've got 0, 0, then 1, 1, then 2, 2, then 3, 3. 0, 0 is right here. 1, 1 is right there. 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6. Look at that. It's creating a straight. It's creating a line that cuts through diagonally. There's our line. And if they want us to prove our slope, we look at the change in y and look at the change in x. So change in y is just plus 1 over 1, right, which is 1. And then we could look at it right here. Let's use this point and this point. It goes up 1 and over 1, so that's plus 1, and that's plus 1, which is 1 over 1, which is 1. And our y-intercept, let's do this in pink. It's this right here. When x is 0, what does y equal? It equals 0. Here's our y-intercept right there. It is b, which is 0.00. Is it the same with what we have for answer 2? We said slope is 1, y-intercept is 0. Slope is 1, y-intercept 0. Slope is 1, y-intercept 0. So the answer to both is yes and yes. Pattern linear or nonlinear? It is linear because it's a straight line. And ascending, descending, or horizontal, if I go from left to right, it seems to be going upward, so it is ascending. Try the next one on your own. It's kind of tricky because it says like 3x plus negative 6. I don't even know why it should have that negative 6. So it should say 3x minus 6. But whatever, same difference. Let's go to this question now, the family of lines. We are going to need to figure out the slope and the y-intercept of these lines. Well, remember, y equals mx plus b, right? And slope is m, and y-intercept is b, so let's write down. That's the m, the plus 1, that's the b. That means 2 and 1. Let's look at this one. This is slope, and this is y-intercept. That's b. It's 2 and 3. This one right here, that's slope, it's being multiplied by x, and the y-intercept is nothing, I guess, so 2 and nothing, which is 0. They want us to complete the table for each equation for when x equals 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So let's do that. Let's do a green graph. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that's going to be when y equals 2x plus 1. Let's do, y equals 2 times 0 plus 1. Y equals 2 times 1 plus 1. Y equals 2 times 2 plus 1. And we can try to figure the rest of it out in the pattern. That's 0 plus 1, which is 1. The next one is 2 plus 1, which is 3. The next one is 2 times 2, which is 4, plus 1, which is 5. What is our pattern? Adding 2, adding 2 again. So if we add 2, we should get 7, then 9, then 11. All right, let's look at our next one. It's y equals 2x plus 3. Let's use red. So when x is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, y equals 2x plus 3, 2x plus 3. So y equals 2 times 0 plus 3. What does that equal? That equals 3. When y equals 2 times 1 plus 3, and then we have y equals 2 times 2 plus 3, and we'll figure out the rest with the patterns. That's 2 times 1 is 2, plus 3 is 5. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 3 is 7. And the pattern seems to be that it is from 3 to 5, to 5 to 7, to 7 to the next one. It would be increasing by 2. So the next one should be 9, then 11, then 13. And then let's do the other graph. Let's make that in blue. And it's y equals 2x. It's this graph right here. So they want x to equal 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So let's see. Y equals 2 times 0. Y equals 2 times 1. Y equals 2 times 2. What does that all equal? That's 0. That's 2. That's 4. The pattern seems to be that it is increasing by 2 each time. So the next number should be 6, then 8, then 10. Now, let's go ahead and graph all of these lines. The first line in green, we have 0, 1, 1, 3, 2, 5. Oh, look at that. Oh, darn it, I didn't do the lines correctly. But this will be A, B, and C. And if I graphed all of those, A, B looks like this. It's right over there. It's actually my red line, but whatever. C looks like that. And notice these lines. What do you notice about the 3 lines? Well, they never touch. And what's it mean when they never touch? What's the word that means lines that don't ever touch? They are parallel. And if they're asking what do the equations have in common? Let's see, this is 2x plus 1, 2x plus 3, 2x. Don't they all have 2x? Which means they all have a slope of 2. Same slope. Specifically, m equals 2. All right, so we are, go ahead and try that next one on your own if you can. We're going to stop there, but go try some questions, make some graphs, fill out some tables. Good luck.